Hi, it's Monday, April 11th, 2016. It's about 9:40 London time in the morning, and I'm going to talk about market manipulation. And it's always a strange subject because we can't really prove it because we can't go to the banks or the treasury departments of countries and say, oh, did you intervene, at such and such a time? Because they say, oh, we can't divulge, it's private client information. Well, I'll start today, and I'll put a link to these photos on, below in the description, because I can't really show them because they're Getty images. But you have a link to the website and the photos. And it says, John Snow tours JP Morgan trading floor in New York. Well, John Snow was the Secretary of the Treasury during the Bush years. He was there before Hank Paulson took over, I think in 2006. And before him, you had also Paul O'Neill. So George W. Bush had 3 secretaries of the Treasury. And John Snow, I still remember once I saw a paper here in London, a newspaper, and it had a photo of him visiting the JP Morgan offices in London, because he was visiting London at the time. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. He's their biggest client. The U.S. Treasury has a huge fund called the Exchange Stabilization Fund, created by Franklin Roosevelt in 1934, with the money they stole from the American people by confiscating their gold. And I don't know how much. It's secret. It's a secret fund now, and it's safely at JP Morgan. And in my opinion, these photos, I couldn't find the ones of him in London, but he also toured JP Morgan's trading floor in New York. And he's like sitting, with the bankers surrounding him in the dealing room, looking at a screen. And I'm sure the bankers saying, "Oh, Mr. Snow, when you call us to intervene in the markets, we go and we buy the futures, and that makes the market move up." And that's what we do. I can't prove that, but it would be interesting, to kind of know what they told him and what he was talking about with them. And with that in mind, I'm talking about this morning because around 8:30 London time, the Dow was down over 50 points. It was testing the 17,500 level. That's the Dow futures. The Dow futures trades almost 24/7 on the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. In the futures market. And it's very easy to move the Dow or the S&P futures, especially around 8:30 London time. People are already in the office, but it's still fairly thin. So yeah, we were below this very important trend line from this rounding top from last year in the Dow. And as you can see in the chart that I've put here, and we're below that line. And then at around, let's see, it was around 8:40 London time, so about an hour ago, the Dow just went up 60 points. And it went up from being down 50 to being up 10. And then another 10 minutes later at 8:50, he went up another 60 points. And, and it was up more, about 100 points at one point. We traded up to 660 after being, at 17,500. So the market went up like 130 points in a quiet period. Monday morning, London time, no U.S. data coming out at this time. And you wonder, why did we spike up like that? And gold as well, we were up quite nicely, gold, up about $16 at like $12.54. And, you know, now as I speak at 9:46, gold is only up 8 at 12:47. The Dow now is 17,630, so it's up about 100 and, you know, 30, more than 130 points from the low, you know, just over an hour ago, and it's up 58 now. And you wonder, you know, is that J.P. Morgan and Co. in London, you know, in their office, just taking, you know, ramping up the futures for the Exchange Stabilization Fund? And yeah, it's very, I mean, it's very difficult to prove. You know, I can't phone J.P. Morgan and say, oh, did you buy, you know, S&P or Dow futures today for the ESF? You know, they're going to put the phone down on me. But it's really interesting that Zero Hedge is also reporting, and I'll put the link below. Obama announces unexpected meeting with Yellen, you know, for today. So President Obama and Vice President Biden are meeting Fed Chairman or Chairwoman, if you want to call it, Janet Yellen, to discuss the state of the American and global economy today, you know, 11th of April. And lo and behold, you know, the Dow just happens to, you know, be testing really key levels, and then all of a sudden just turns around and goes up 150 points out of the blue. And gold, of course, is being controlled, kept down below 1250. So yeah, Exchange Stabilization Fund, plunge protection team, you know, there is no free market left in the, you know, and it's a bit, it's very interesting. I can't prove of any of this, of course, but I'll put the chart, you know, I'll put the charts and you've seen it. And I'll put the link to the Jon Snow photos at the, you know, the biggest client of J.P. Morgan. No wonder J.P. Morgan never, you know, gets into trouble, because their biggest client is the U.S. government. Take care. Bye.